All right, tonight, guys, it's time to take a look at another Seiko. And of course, Mimo over at Mimo's Jewelry was kind enough to lend in this one as well. You can see the one I have in the background here, the SSC701. I already did a video on that. At the same time, he sent over this guy here. This is the srpd09 with a retail price of $525. You use the Rob35 discount code on this guy and you're going to save yourself 35%, getting it with quick shipping from Mimo, authorized dealer of Seiko. So what are you waiting for? Do it. He's got a ton of great models in, and 2019 I think is going to bring a lot of really cool Seiko models coming up, both in the USA, of course, that the ADs in the US will be able to distribute, and then of course there's going to be a lot of special edition Japanese models. So I'm pretty excited about Seiko as a whole for 2019, but this watch is definitely one of the early contenders, right up there with it. You can see you have a really cool ion coated case here that is almost like a gunmetal finish to it, which is really nice looking. It's a nice little departure from just a stark black case. I'm not typically a huge fan of black cases or dark cases in general, but it's very cool to see this shade, and especially how they paired it with this Save the Ocean type dial, I guess. I don't know what else you want to call that. I don't think anywhere is this one labeled as Save the Ocean or part of that organization where they were actually giving some of the proceeds or profits from those watches to that organization. I'm not sure they're including these models with it because I don't see, even on the Seiko website, I don't see any mention of it. So I think these are just new colorways. I could be wrong. If somebody knows for sure, definitely let us know in the comments. But I have to say, of the newer bluish type dials, I think this one's very dynamic and I think it's really cool looking. The turtle, I think is going to be on the way to me here soon. Bruce had that. That'll be sent over to me, so I'll be doing a video of that too. And I'll probably actually do a video with all three of them, kind of like Mark at Long Island Watch did. So it's nice to see all three of them all in one video. But you can see it has basically a set of hands from the Monster style. I guess that's probably where we first seen them. They may have been on previous models before that, but I'm just biased towards the Monster, so that's the one I focus on. But this handset is brushed finish, which I think is really nice because it doesn't really take away from the rest of the watch. I think it's just a nice clean handset. It doesn't need to be super polished or anything like that with this tone of dial and the way it transitions from almost a violet bluish color down to a really dark. If it's still black or blue, then it's such a dark blue that it is black. I mean, it looks black to me. And of course on the bezel here, you definitely have a bluish color or dark blue color down to about the 15 mark, and the rest of it is black with silver printing or reliefs. So very nicely done. I like the contrast, and I look forward to doing future watch mods with some of these dials. So they look amazing. Even if you're not into modding, these, if you want to buy just a stock model, these are really cool too. But I've been mod happy lately. So you can see this is a special edition as labeled on the case back, but it's not like a limited edition or anything like that. It's nothing that's, the production is going to be a numbered issue. So I think somebody mentioned in the comments, I'm sorry I forget your name, I read all the comments, but I can't really always remember exactly who said what, but I'm pretty sure someone mentioned that the special editions are basically in production for that year and then out. So if that's true, that would kind of make sense, because there is a ton of previous special editions that have come out and they weren't limited, but it seems like after that year they kind of disappear and then the prices start to go up if it's a hot seller, like I think this one would be. I think this is a really cool looking watch. So I'm going to toss it on my wrist real quick. Hang tag flopping around and everything like that. Because this is brand new. This is going back to Mimo. And you can see that these guys wear great. I have a 7 1/4 wrist, and the size of the watch, I think the dial presents itself bigger, so maybe it's just it has a lot of wrist presence. This one maybe not so much as some of the other full stainless models because when you do a darker case, I think it kind of diminishes the size a little bit just in the physical appearance of it. So I think it's a great looking watch. It definitely feels great on wrist, especially with these newer silicone Seiko straps. So the case dimensions on this, I measure 43.8. They advertise it as a 44, but I get 43.8, and then 48.2 lug to lug. You have drilled lugs. The thickness is only 13.3, and then you have 22 mil lug width. So you could do different straps or whatever you want to do on this guy. They're not going to do a bracelet with this one. I did notice they have the bracelet for the turtle in the same color tone. But I'm totally fine. When you go with these darker watches, I know that's one of the first things, the clasp and everything gets all scratched up and stuff like that. So I think this on the factory silicone strap or playing around with some different NATOs and stuff like that, I think would be where it pretty much lived. So excellent crown action. I did unscrew it and screw back in. You can see the centering on it is really good. Some of that is going to be an optical illusion depending on which angle you look at it, but it's definitely centered. I know there were some previous issues with that. And then let's do a Loom Shot. Not that the Seikos need a little blast, but I like to give it a little pop because it's just more dramatic. So I give it a little dash of flashlight, and you can see this is one of the models where you have the dual loom. So you have like almost like a cool blue to all of the indices, the second hand and the hour hand, and the minute hand is a nice classic green Seiko loom, and the pip is also green. So you can see this is that solar one that's also a dual loom, and then of course you have the monster showing off in the background here. That's going to be an all green loom. So hopefully that's picking up in the camera a little bit. I'm sorry if it's not. Sometimes you need a little bit of ambient light, like kind of in the background, to give it a little blast there. Maybe it'll dilute the color. So very, very cool watch. There you go. You can kind of see a little bit of the a better representation of what the loom color looks like. So there's that guy. I appreciate you guys watching. Oh, that's my job calling me. So this concludes this video, and I will talk to you guys on the next vid.